Hi, Alexa.
Hi, Nicole. Happy to be here together and yeah, kind of dive into more of the streams of consciousness journey and just kind of explore what we're feeling into it and to kind of share more about what we're envisioning and just our excitement about it.
Mm, yeah. Yeah, I'll be curious what we kind of create together and what unfolds over this year, 2025. It's a 11-month year journey. And in a lot of ways, I think it's exciting that we are students always, and that we are diving into this unknown, the streams of consciousness, and fully showing up in the unknown and letting it take us on a journey of self-reflection, self-discovery, as well as being held in a safe container and community.
Mhm.
So I'm curious what's coming alive for you as we co-create and weave this amazing 11-month experience together.
Yeah, I'm really excited because we have like created dances before together, but this feels like something totally different. So I'm also really curious about stepping into more of the unknown and just trusting what organically unfolds and to have more of a close-knit group to journey with that feels really supportive. And I'm really excited to like play with weaving different art forms and healing modalities. That just feels really like satisfying and exciting. And also allowing that to also be organic. And I'm curious how the writing with the dance is going to pair in meditations and um, kind of for us to get out of our comfort zones as well and kind of share with others.
Yeah, so like you have a pretty extensive background in the ecstatic dancing aspect.
Mhm.
I think you said 5 or 6 years you've been really teaching and exploring, and you've been participating in a lot of dances. But now, what has it been like 5 or 6 years you've been hosting them?
Yeah, so I discovered ecstatic dance in 2019 in California. And then right before COVID, I started hosting them in Lansing, Michigan. And then from there, COVID happened and I kind of continued doing hosting in different cities wherever I was living at the time. And I can't believe 5 years have passed. It really feels like a blink of an eye, but ecstatic dance literally like no matter what, like it does bring me back into the body, into the present. And it's been really fun to explore with different communities, different types of dances. And yeah, it's become like a big solace for me and a big something I can return to no matter where I am. And I love that it's very free flowing. There's no right or wrong. And that's been really supportive. A lot of the times I feel like I'm very rigid and in my day to day life everything's very structured typically, and I'm learning to step out of that and balance more of that flow. And ecstatic dance is really an access point to that. Um, and yeah, and so most recently I've been doing a lot of 30-minute dances alone in my room, and that's been really fun. They're a bit of a shorter playlist, but I can still really dive deep, and that's what we're going to be offering for the streams of consciousness is weaving in 30-minute dances, which is something new and exciting. There'll still be 5 different rhythms, um, but it'll just be more concise and yeah, fluid.
Hmm. Yeah, I laugh that I've been co-hosting these ecstatic dances with you for a couple years. This is our third year. Um, I danced my whole childhood. I was a dancer, and I wasn't in dancing classes like a lot of little girls. Um, and it was something that I did on my own for fun. I loved it and did with my cousin. And my cousin was in dances, and she still teaches dance in San Diego. So, she would often be the choreographer, and we would just that's just something that we did. And so dancing was like in my family life, I was always the dancer. I'm from a musical family. Everybody is musicians, and everybody would be like, Nicole's the dancer. And so it's kind of like full circle to come back to um, to being here in this couple year journey with you, where we've been co-facilitating these dances. And yet, I'm trained as a therapist and a somatic practitioner and a shamanic practitioner. And so, um, getting people back in their bodies is my life's work. And so through different ways of doing that, and dance is a part of it,
Mhm.
but never actually like doing it more individually or in group settings with people.
Mhm.
Not, it was never called ecstatic dance, even though
Mhm.
um, it could be all different, right? It's very much like that because you're trusting in whatever needs to move through your body.
Mhm.
And I think people have it's almost like an identification of what ecstatic dance is. And I feel like it's confusing. I don't know how honest it is and how outspoken it is in the community of like, and maybe it's my interpretation, like maybe how I go about it's from my background, and it's not even following a certain structure. Like I understand there's the wave sequence that kind of invites in an energy, but you're still going to be make it your own, and whatever moves through you is exactly perfect.
Mhm.
And it might not look like the textbook or what even the wave sequence might be offering. You might have your own completely different experience. And so to me, I can't help but to say it is a somatic embodied practice,
Mhm.
and it is a very deep meditative shamanic journey where even if you're in a group of people online or in person, the music in your body and whatever your body's containing emotionally,
Mhm.
mentally, physically, spiritually, relationally,
Mhm.
past, present, future is all enlivened, and it's going to be moving through you. You're going to have your own personal experience. And from my experience, it's going to shock you. You're going to be
Mhm.
surprised. You're going to make contact with cellular, muscle, fascia, intelligence that maybe you didn't even know you carried. You're going to access parts of you that you're like, I didn't even know I was feeling that way. I didn't even know that that was in
Mhm.
me. And all of a sudden, all this aliveness is going to open and rush in. That's
Mhm.
how I would describe it. That's my experience. And it very much is connected to meditation and
Mhm.
even the writing, because as a shamanic practitioner, it's really important to move energy throughout your body in the left and right hemispheres of the brain and to really embody and integrate the spoken and the non-spoken of our experience. And so by going into a meditation, opening up a pathway for us into the unknown,
Mhm.
maybe with a little bit of a framework, a very little theme. Like in February, we have Weaving Threads of Divine Destiny.
Mhm.
What does that mean? You're not supposed to know what that means.
Mhm.
We go in through a student lens of curiosity and wonderment. We don't know
Mhm.
what that's going to come up for each of us. It's going to be very different.
Mhm.
So there's a little bit of a framework, like there
Mhm.
is a 15-minute meditation, a 30-minute dance, a 15-minute writing, but we're in the unknown and
Mhm.
we're going to journey through this together. And then at the end, before we process and talk about it and we just go into some soul writing, it's like it's moving through our body and through our intelligence, and it's processing inside of us so that we can embody more of it. And so it
Mhm.
doesn't just like go in one ear and out the other.
Mhm.
Like so much of our life is busy, and so much of our life is like in and out, and like, oh, I just did something, it's done. Instead
Mhm.
of like, how can this change me? How can I embody more of my intelligence and my wisdom, mind, body, spirit, so it can change me and inform me in my life and my decisions and my relationships?
Mhm.
And to me, that's where I'm at. So I'm curious if you have anything you want to share about all that.
Wow. Well, thank you for sharing. I really feel like you do like embody all of that really well. And I'm really excited, yeah, to see like to explore more of the unknown. And I love that you mentioned the ecstatic dance is very somatic. And I feel like the name sometimes is a misnomer because people sometimes think, oh, ecstatic, I'm supposed to be on top of the world and super elevated. But truly, especially with like the waves, it's meant to be like a full spectrum journey where you get to allow all emotions to be there, any part that shows up. And I've noticed with ecstatic dance, like sometimes I show up and I'm feeling really like down and shut down, but then through the dance, a lot does unlock. And like you said, you may be surprised. And often I've always been surprised. I can walk into the dance feeling one way, and at the end, something completely different shows up. And I've noticed that the dance in particular really does weave its way into daily life after, like days after. And whether it's the theme that stood out or other experiences or emotions of the dance, but it feels like you get to meet parts of yourselves and dance with them. And it's also doesn't have to look a certain way. So sometimes like I'm just like stretching during the dance, or you don't have to move a lot to get a lot out of it. And something really neat too, I know we experienced with our virtual dances the last 2 years, is that we are in a group setting, but there's also a beautiful personal element where you get to even go deeper within yourself and dance with yourself in your own space, which is really beautiful. And I'm excited, like you said, to anchor in as well and write with some soul writing after the dance to integrate things further. And I think that's going to pair really well. And then, like you said in the beginning, opening up with meditation, and these things just feel like they weave seamlessly together. And there's so much more I could say about all of it. But yeah, ecstatic dance definitely is a very like full mind, body, spirit like experience. And it really does foster a lot of trust and showing up exactly as you are. And that is like and you don't have to be a certain way, and everything is welcome, which is really beautiful. The
Yeah,
mind's
which
welcome too, and yeah.
yeah, which is why we really are feeling called this year to try something new
Hmm.
and have a closed container,
Hmm.
because we want that vulnerability and safety. You know,
Hmm.
because we're entering into the unknown, right? Our bodies, our psyches, our the muscles, the DNA, like there's so much there, and we have no idea what we're going to open these portals. And it can, some people are afraid. Like some people are like, ooh, what if traumas or, things are going to open, or some people are afraid of their joy. Some people are afraid of ecstatic emotions of like, shaking and crying and laughing uncontrollably in ecstasy or bliss. So it's like creating a safe container with just a really intimate small group of people feels like we're going to be held in this cocoon or this
Hmm.
womb or portal where
Yeah.
we can all go into this lodge where it's a self-exploration journey held in the safety of community, where I really feel like that's an added piece to the meditation, the dance, and the writing is sharing.
Yes.
All have our own experience. Maybe most of us do outside of the public life. That's perfect. That's really great. I love that. That's important too. But that vulnerability piece and transparency, where we actually now, like in a safe group, not just spreading it on social media, actually get to be heard and seen in a safe space. And then we also get to reflect that back to other people's journey. That's another element that we can't really overlook. And it's really powerful. And what happens, the growth and the change and the embodiment that happens through that process.
Thank you for speaking to that. And really, that was a big testament to the last 2 years in the virtual dances. There was a lot of sharing and witnessing before and after the dances. That was such a gift, and people were really vulnerable. And I feel like we can go even deeper with this a smaller, closed container. And something that people may be wondering, like in a virtual space, can we go as deep? And oh, yes, like it is amazing how I just remember like even hearing people share, even like through the meditations, like it was so tangible and visceral. Like you could feel it's as if we were all together in a room. And so we really do create that sacred space, and you'll be held in that. And we'll also have a private Facebook group too, so you can further share and process with each month's journey. And so there can be kind of more witnessing and connecting through that space.
Yeah. And I just have to keep bringing up the excitement piece and the safety and the love and the connection, because this can feel so serious. This can feel like, oh, this is a deep healing journey. Maybe it's play, maybe it's fun, like there's no expectation that, like, we're not going into this like, oh, we're going to access all of our repressed trauma and do all this shadow work. It's like maybe some of that's going to come up. Maybe you are going to feel just more alive and more light and more open and curious and playful. And so really like calling forth those expectations around like, what does it mean to do this? What's it going to look like? and that rigidity and shaking it loose to be like, you know what? I'm being called for whatever reason to go on this 11-month 2025 journey with Alexa and Nicole and be completely curious and be a student and not know. And so that leads me before we close out to why we are shaking things again and going outside of both your comfort zone and mine. Because you and I can be very serious. We can have a lot of integrity in our work, which is good. We want to make sure people are held in a safe space and, we're not just throwing them to the wolves, kind of, so to speak. But at the same time, we don't want to keep making things so rigid and controlling so much of it. We want the mystery to be woven into it. So, and also with our work schedules and things being so different. So we are doing something very different. We're not scheduling these dates ahead of time like we usually do. We're not giving a ton of notice for you to plan your schedule because we're trusting in a divine intelligence. We're trusting in that streams of consciousness that's weaving us together. So if you feel called to say yes, then you're trusting, right? That when you're supposed to show up, you're going to be there. And we're making it pretty flexible. So throughout this 11-month journey, you can miss, 3 of them. And then if we need to have a conversation privately around that, if there's more than that, but for the most part, it's like 2 weeks, I think. We discussed we will make sure at least 2 weeks ahead of time. And that is part of the play and the fun because our first one is something very different. Alexa and I are doing, we're doing a morning session.
Yeah.
And we're doing it Saturday. And that just feels so fun, like 10 o'clock, and Eastern time. And so like the last 2 years, we pretty much always kept the same structure. It was always the evening and almost pretty much the same time frame. And so like playing with the days of the week, the time of day, and just exploring is a part of the mystery unraveling and revealing itself. And I'm really excited to have less control and more mystery woven into this.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. And that is a huge element to why we're bringing this more of this flow and practicing letting go of the rigidity. And I feel like I need that personally too. And really, want to implement that into all areas of life. And it feels fun to explore that in the community space and together as we all get to kind of shake out of our comfort zones and shake things up. And I love that too, the element of joy as well. And we don't know and you just show up as you are and you have no idea what's going to show up. And we're all doing it together. You're not alone in it. And Nicole and I are also participants fully as well. So yeah.
Yes. And that requires trust. And it's trust in the streams of consciousness that is bringing us all together. And we're all going to come from different places. We all are different people. And we're always movable and changeable, even as people, even as ourselves. We're not stagnant, stuck beings. And so however life is flowing through us, that is also going to be woven into these spaces because we are ever changing. And, just trusting that, like we can trust in the not knowing. We can trust in, okay, I'm feeling called to sign up and participate and let's just see what happens. And there might be times where you're like, oh, that time didn't work for me. I'm going to miss that one. Alexa and I, if you sign up, you will still get the playset. You will still get an email with the information. You can still go on the journey yourself. You just won't go into the live Zoom with us. So you don't have to worry about missing out on that. Obviously, being held in the container together and going in these during the same time is so powerful. But we understand there might be an occasion where the time didn't work out. And that's part of trust. That is part of you're still going on the journey. You're trusting whatever is unfolding. And I'm really excited for that. I feel like that's like the thing I'm the most excited about is like, it takes me back to telepathic communication and before technology and cell phones, and where there was so much more intuition and trust that was guiding our decisions. We used to get in a car and drive somewhere and maybe have a physical map or have to stop at a gas station and ask for directions, but we had no, Google Maps and no cell phone. And, the way these chance encounters, right? The serendipitous when life can have you again and surprise you, and you don't know, like, my gosh, when's Nicole and Alexa gonna pick the next dance? What if I can't make it? What if it's at a time? What if
Mhm.
all the stars aligned and everything works out and it's the best that you could ever imagine? What if that? Like, us letting go of our rigid control and our human ways and setting everything and structuring everything and going into the mystery and trusting in the synchronicities as they unfold
Mhm.
is so much about what this
Mhm.
11-month journey is about. So I'm excited.
Me too. Yeah,
I
I
got
definitely,
six
yeah.
people that are going to come. I know we have a few people that signed up. So I'm just excited that we are embarking on something new together, Alexa. It's been so much fun. And I don't know if the Mushroom Medicine Oracle deck is going to come in and pop its head ever in this. The last 2 years, I know Alexa shared a video where she talked about using mushroom medicine, and I laughed because that could have been misunderstood. We did not do mushroom medicine. I created an oracle deck, Mushroom Medicine Oracle, which is behind me. And so using divination as a form of knowing, like, what is the message and what are you moving through in your life, and invoking that into the dance, into the movement and the meditation, was a part of the last couple of years that we did together. And we always had an overseer card that held the container and the space that was a mystery and always revealed itself at the end. Um, so yeah, I don't know if any of that will ever come in. Divination is another fun thing to bring into
Mhm.
these circles, but I really am excited for the mystery. And like, even Alexa and I, as the facilitators, we don't even know,
Mhm.
and that is exciting and enlivening.
Yeah, definitely trusting it and definitely excited about that too. And um, yeah, just ready to show up. So excited to be with you all
Mm.
on this journey.
All right, reach out if you have any questions. And, you know, if you want to hear more, if there's some unanswered questions and you're still uncertain, or you're like, I kind of intrigued, or I'm curious about this, but I don't, really know, feel free to reach out to Alexa or I.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
All
Bye-bye.
right. Bye.